guys, what's going on? Needs More Drums here, back in City Skylines 2, and with a lot of the recent updates, the game has been getting pretty good. So I thought it would be a great time to start talking about some tips and tricks that can maybe help you into learning how to build a little bit better, a little bit more realistic city. So the first thing that I want to talk about is road hierarchy. And this is a concept that a lot of people tend to overlook, I feel like, and it's one of those concepts in urban development that's really, really important. And if you lay groundwork for good road hierarchy right off the start, your city will have better traffic and it'll look and function really, really well. So the road hierarchy kind of has like four main pillars. And I'm not an urban planner, but I did do a little bit of research on this. I'll post a link in the description with some articles that you can read and just, some quick reads if you're more curious to learn more about this. But essentially, there are four tiers to road hierarchy. And so it's highways, arterials, collectors, and then just regular side streets or neighborhood streets, whatever you want to call them. So how it works is essentially your highways are made to connect major metropolitan areas. So those are going to be roads with uninterrupted traffic flows, high speed limits, and a high traffic capacity. So think your interstates, and in the case of this city right now, I don't have any large elevated highways, but you can see we have these rural highways that are just these two-lane roads. There's very few intersections, and the point is to just get people around from point to point very, very quickly. Now, after highways comes arterial roads, and those are going to be your main roads that deliver large amounts of traffic through major points in your city. And the main goal for arterials is to bring the people from your busy areas to your highways. So that's the second step in hierarchy. And so arterials are typically, larger roads. Maybe they might have some more lanes, but the main key to remember here about arterials, or at least what I understand to be true about arterials, is that you want to limit the amount of connections. And the reason that you want to limit those connections to arterial roads is because that will limit the amount of traffic interruptions that those drivers are going to face. So you'll see here, this Umber Street up at the top, this is going to function as an arterial road. And the reason is it's going to take people from, this highway here into this highway over here. And you can see there's only two streets that connect to this road. I could have gone crazy and just, made the grid and connect up all these side streets to this road, but then we would have had, instead of two intersections, we would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 intersections along this road. So you figure those people that are driving along here now only have to stop at 2 stoplights right now, as opposed to like 7. So that's going to really help traffic flow from here to here, and it'll connect up this main bridge to this highway, and then people can get on this highway and get out of the city very, very quickly. The same can be said for Meadow Street over here. This sort of functions as an arterial road as well. This is going to bring people from, this bridge here and bring them kind of around the city center and then just back out this other highway. So this, again, functions more as an arterial road. And finally, you can even maybe make the classification of a Umber Street an arterial road as well. And while this one is a little bit different because it kind of, goes straight through the center, the functionality is essentially the same, right? We're bringing people from this highway, kind of this what I'll call the north side of the city, to the south side of the city very, very quickly, very few interruptions. There's only 2 intersections on this street. So these are kind of like your arterial roads that are going to bring a lot of people to, very busy areas pretty quickly with little interruption. And now the third part of road hierarchy is going to be your collectors. And so the job of collectors is to bring people from your side streets to your arterial roads. And so you can see here, collectors can come in a few different forms. Essentially, all that they are kind of like, think of them as, roads that people are going to kind of flock to more than a side street. So, and you want to give people that option. You kind of want to, the cool thing about building roads in City Skylines is you have the power to kind of force people to certain areas, into certain roads. And so that's what I've kind of done here with Meadow Street and Anchor Street. You can see that these function as collectors in the sense that they're going to bring people from these side streets over here, these very small blocks. They're going to head to Meadow Street, and then they're going to travel to an arterial. And then that arterial will take them either to a highway or to another arterial to another busy part of the city. So to me, this is functioning as a collector. Same with Anchor Street. There's, the small city blocks in the middle here, but then once you hit Anchor Street, you can quickly go to an arterial. You can go down here to Highland Street, which also seems to function as somewhat of a collector. And so these are sort of your collectors that are connecting your very small side streets to your very busy arterial roads. And then finally, the bottom part of the hierarchy are your side streets. And so your side streets can be, they could be these 2-lane roads. Sometimes I even like to use, these alleyways as side streets, or they can even be, small one-way roads, whatever you please. But the point of that is just to give, interconnectivity to all of your buildings within these, parts of the city. So these really don't serve any other purpose than just getting people around. Whatever you decide to use as your block size is up to you. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your side streets are connected to some collectors and you're feeding traffic to your arterials and to your highways. And so you can see here that this is a fairly decent demonstration of road hierarchy. I think that I did a pretty good job of, kind of forcing traffic to go to like this Highland Street, to Meadow Street, to Anchor Street, and then they'll be able to quickly get around to the highways via these arterials. Now, if we hop over here, you can see a bad example of road hierarchy. There really is none. And yeah, you could argue maybe that like Beechwood Street is going to be, maybe a collector for us, and same with Wood Street, but they're kind of not. You'll see that like, you have this Hawthorne Street that goes around here, this big bridge, but there's a lot of intersections here. Like I said, already we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 intersections on Hawthorne Street. And if you want to really make this an arterial road as you would expect it to be, because presumably we would have, maybe another bridge right here, right, to cross this river and maybe connect up to this highway. But right now, this traffic is going to experience a lot of interruptions. So what we're going to do here is, if we even just delete a couple of these intersections, you'll already see that is going to greatly improve the traffic flow on Hawthorne Street. And then we can even go one step further and say, if we're going to expand Wood Street, if it's going to come under this bridge and kind of lead to another, neighborhood over here or something, or another extension of the city, we can even go and maybe delete some of the intersections on this street as well. And maybe even Hickory Street, we can get rid of that. And now we have a pretty quick route that people can take kind of along the river here that will be a lot better than driving straight through, Lindbergh Street here or a Beechwood Street. You can get around pretty quickly if you have no business to attend to in the city center. So that's my explanation of road hierarchy. Not super complicated, but something that can be very overlooked. And then if you set up your city with a bad road hierarchy, you're going to kind of pay for it later. You're going to have a lot of traffic jams. People aren't going to really know where to go. And like I said, as the builder, you have the power and the responsibility to kind of show people where they should be traveling to, right? So you'll figure that these roads are going to get a lot of use here, these arterials, because I'm kind of forcing people to travel to these collectors and then kind of go to these arterial roads. And a big thing too about arterials that I think is a good tip: use your roundabouts. Take advantage of roundabouts where you have the space. I know roundabouts, you don't always have space for them, but if you're laying out your city early on, you could definitely take advantage of roundabouts to have uninterrupted traffic flows at really busy intersections. So right here we have the intersection of multiple 4-lane roads, and even up here we have a couple highways. Instead of making this a stoplight, I went ahead and threw a roundabout here, and this is going to make sure that there's no stops and no interruptions in this traffic flow. So with that being said, hope you guys learned a little tip, and I hope this helped you build a better city. And in the meantime, hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys in future videos. Thank you so much. Peace out.